I like my hoodie.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in to another thing of the Neon Mushroom, more EDH gameplay video. I'm not the mushroom, that's the mushroom. The mushroom's dead. He's not dead, he's just gone. That's why I get to speak. And this is Hobbs, this is for the you and the man, the guy that wanted to comment and the thing. We have another EDH gameplay video for you today, and this time it is a spicy boy. I did not want to edit it together because I've already been through hell once with that Mardu Madness game earlier, but the ending to this game is actually kind of wicked. I don't mean to clickbait you. That's not what the channel is. I'll do it for like the cringe, but like I think you'll enjoy this gameplay video. Comment down below your thoughts and feelings and the things and the stuff. Game. In today's game, we have Calvin rocking Godo, Bandit, Warlord again. His opening hand includes 3 snow-covered mountains, a Mask of Avacyn, a Burning Inquiry, a Soul Guide Lantern, and then because of mulligans, he ships away a snow-covered mountain. After that, we have Adrian walking Kumena, Tyrant of Orazca again. His opening hand includes a Hinterland Harbor, Forest, Polluted Delta, Beast Within, Forerunner of the Heralds, Kopala, Warden of Waves, and Master of the Pearl Trident. Then we have Ajdin, rocking Lord Windgrace again. His opening hand includes Graving Cairns, Smoldering Marsh, Windswept Heath, Reflecting Pool, Wasteland, Ob Nixilis the Fallen, and Azusa Lost but Seeking. And then finally we have Foley, rocking his Kadena Slinking Sorcerer deck. His opening hand includes Vivid Creek, Snow-Covered Island, Bodruka Bog, Talisman of Resilience, Golgari Signet, Return of the Wild Speaker, and Chrome Shell Crab. Calvin won the die roll, so he will open the game by playing a snow-covered mountain and then casts Burning Inquiry.
Oh dear.
Each player draws 3 cards and discards 3 cards at random.
Oh dude, no.
Force of will.
My hand's so good. At random?
At random.
Okay, 1, 2.
Through the Inquiry, Calvin will discard a Skred, Arch of Orazca, and a Soul Guide Lantern. Adrian will discard Forerunner of the Heralds, Master of the Pearl Trident, and a Forest. Ajdin will discard a Woodland Cemetery, Windswept Heath, and Ob Nixilis the Fallen. And then Foley will discard a Return of the Wild Speaker, Panharmonicon, and Aeonok Survivalist. This will end Calvin's turn.
Oh,
That was a hilarious turn 1
I
play.
hate you.
Adrian will then take his turn and he'll play a Polluted Delta before passing. And then Ajdin will simply drop a Smoldering Marsh tapped. Foley will then drop a Vivid Creek tapped before passing the turn. Round 2, Calvin will untap, draw, then play a snow-covered mountain before casting Hedron Crawler. Before he ends his turn, Adrian will crack his Polluted Delta to find a Breeding Pool tapped. Then Adrian will untap, draw, drop a Hinterland Harbor, then cast Silvergill Adept, revealing a Kopala Warden of Waves from his hand, triggering the Silvergill and drawing him a card. Ajdin will then untap, draw, drop a Forest, then cast Nature's Lore, searching his library for an Overgrown Tomb tapped. And then Foley will untap, draw, then drop a Snow-Covered Island, before casting Talisman of Resilience, and then ending the turn. Round 3, Calvin will untap, draw, drop a snow-covered mountain, and then he'll cast Mask of Avacyn before suspending Wheel of Fate. Adrian will untap, draw, drop an island, then cast Wild Growth, enchanting the island, before casting Kopala, Warden of Waves.
Would you like to read the card?
I'm going to read Kopala, Warden of Waves. Spells your opponent's cast that do things, and that doesn't help.
He'll then attack Calvin for 2 damage. Ajdin will untap, draw, drop a Reflecting Pool, then cast Azusa Lost but Seeking, letting him drop a Graving Cairns and a Misty Rainforest as his land drops. Then Foley will untap, draw, drop a Swamp, then cast his commander Kadena Slinking Sorcerer, letting him morph a creature for free, triggering Kadena, drawing him a card. He'll then end the turn. Round 4, Calvin will untap, tick down Wheel of Fate's time counters, then draw a card. He'll drop a snow-covered mountain, and then he'll cast Panharmonicon before ending the turn. Adrian will untap, draw, drop an island, then cast his commander, Kumena, Tyrant of Orazca. Before he ends the turn, Ajdin will crack his Misty Rainforest in order to find a Stomping Ground tapped. On Ajdin's turn, he'll untap, draw, and then cast his commander, Lord Windgrace, taking it up to discard a Wasteland in order to draw some cards. He'll then drop a Rootbound Crag and then cast Elvish Reclaimer. On Foley's turn, he'll untap, draw, then drop a Bojuka Bog, exiling Ajdin's graveyard, before casting Golgari's Signet and Scroll of Fate, which he'll use to manifest a card from his hand, triggering Kadena and drawing him a card. He'll then attack Calvin for 5 damage before ending the turn. Round 5, Calvin will untap, tick down a time counter from Wheel of Fate, draw a card, then he'll cast Sword of Feast and Famine, before spending the rest of his mana to equip it to Hedron Crawler. Before Calvin ends the turn, Adrian will activate Kumena's ability, tapping 3 Merfolk to draw a card. On Adrian's turn, he'll untap, draw, then drop an island, before casting Lord of Atlantis. He'll then activate that same draw ability, tapping 3 Merfolk to draw a card, then he'll activate Kumena's other ability, tapping his last Merfolk to make Kumena unblockable. Also, he can cast Harvest Season for maximum effect, searching his library for 2 forests and 2 islands and putting them into play tapped. On Ajdin's turn, he'll untap, draw, then tick up Lord Windgrace, discarding a Wooded Foothills, before dropping a Polluted Delta and passing the turn. On Foley's turn, he'll untap, draw, then drop a Darkwater Catacombs before casting Demir's Signet. He'll then activate his Scroll of Fate, putting down a manifest creature, triggering Kadena to draw a card, and then he'll attack Windgrace for 5 damage, before casting a Morph creature and then drawing another card from Kadena. Round 6, Calvin will untap, tick down another time counter from Wheel of Fate, and then he'll draw a card. He'll then cast Rummaging Goblin before attacking Ajdin with his Hedron Crawler. Ajdin, in response, will activate his Elvish Reclaimer, sacrificing a Rootbound Crag in order to search his library for a Glacial Chasm, which enters the battlefield and makes him sacrifice his Graven Currents. This prevents the combat. Calvin will then drop a Forgotten Cave tapped before passing the turn. On Adrian's turn, he'll untap, draw, drop an island, then he'll cast Growing Rites of Itlamok, missing a creature, before casting Tishana Voice of Thunder. Tishana enters the battlefield, drawing Adrian 5 cards, and then he'll tap one of his merfolk to make Kumena unblockable in order to attack Windgrace for what he thinks is 4 damage, but we catch later is actually 3. Ajdin will respond to the combat by casting Pyroblast, targeting Kumena, but then Adrian will counter the Pyroblast with Swan Song. Everything resolves, Ajdin gets a 2/2, and we'll figure out the Planeswalker before it's Ajdin's turn. Adrian will then move to end step, triggering Growing Rites of Itlamok, but Ajdin will respond by casting Realms Uncharted, searching his deck for 4 lands and giving the choice to Adrian. By the end of it, Vesuva and Thespian Stage will hit Ajdin's graveyard, while he'll get a Volokot the Molten Pinnacle and a Field of the Dead added to his hand. Itlamok will then flip into Itlamok Cradle of the Sun, and then Ajdin will then crack his Polluted Delta, even though the turn should have ended there. It's okay, he gets a Canyon Soul anyways. Ajdin will then untap, pay 2 life to the Glacial Chasm, draw, then drop a Oracle of Moldiah, before ticking up Lord Windgrace, discarding Valakut to draw some cards, then he'll drop Verdant Catacombs, cracking the Catacombs to find Blood Crypt. Then he'll play Field of the Dead, triggering 1 field and getting 1 zombie. Now, you might be wondering why I'm not announcing Ajdin's top of the library given Oracle Moldiah, and the reason might surprise you. Life is hard. On Foley's turn, he'll untap, draw, drop a forest, then he'll cast Thieving Amalgam. He'll then cast a Morph creature, triggering Kadena, and then he'll attack Calvin for 4 damage, ending the turn. Round 7, Calvin will untap, cast Feel of Weight on his upkeep, discarding everyone's hands, and everyone draws 7 new cards. Then Thieving Amalgam will trigger, taking Calvin's top of the library. Then Kadena will trigger, drawing Foley a card. Then Calvin will draw for turn. He'll activate Rummaging Goblin, discarding a Snow-Covered Mountain. Then he'll drop a Snow-Covered Mountain and cast Mannequin, Iron Mirror, and Mind Stone.
What the fuck is this one?
I'm playing Mana Box, that's it.
So
Don't worry about it.
On his end step, Adrian will activate Kumena's draw ability again. On Adrian's turn, he'll untap, Thieving Amalgam will trigger, getting a manifest off the top of his library. Kadena will trigger, drawing Foley a card. Then Adrian will draw. He'll drop a Reliquary Tower, and then cast Glasspool Mimic, which will enter the battlefield as a copy of Lord of Atlantis. He'll then cast Thrasios, Triton Hero, and then he'll cast Marrow Commerce. Foley before combat will tap his Scroll of Fate in order to manifest from his hand, triggering Kadena and drawing him a card. and then Adrian will attack Foley for a lot of damage. Foley will respond to the combat by casting Reality Shift, targeting Tishana Voice of Thunder. Adrian will activate Kumena's ability, tapping 3 Merfolk to draw a card. The shift resolves, Adrian manifests the top card of his library, and then because of Island Walk, Foley can do nothing to stop the 16 damage from coming through. Then Adrian will cast Arcane Signet before moving to end step, triggering Marrow Commerce. On his end step, Ajdin will activate Elvish Reclaimer, sacrificing a forest in order to search for a mountain, which will trigger Field of the Dead, getting him a zombie, before letting the Marrow Commerce untap all of Adrian's Merfolk. On Ajdin's turn, he'll untap, and on his upkeep, Thieving Amalgam will trigger, manifesting the top card of his library, and then Kadena will trigger, drawing Foley a card, and then Ajdin will draw his card, and then he'll tick down Windgrace, bringing back Volocult Molten Pinnacle and Thespian Stage from the graveyard to the battlefield, and then he'll activate Thespian Stage to make it a copy of Valakut. Then he'll cast Ramunap Excavator. Adrian will respond by tapping his Itlimoc for 7 mana, and then activating his Thrasios once, revealing Minamo School of Water's Edge from the top and putting it into play, and then he'll activate it again, revealing Murkfiend Liege and adding it to his hand. The Ramunap Excavator resolves, and then Ajdin will play a Wooded Foothills from the graveyard, crack it, find Cinderglade, trigger both his Valakuts, and he'll point both of them at Adrian's face. Then Ajdin will play a Vesuva, copying Valakut. Then Ajdin will play a Wooded Foothills. He'll crack it, he'll find a mountain, triggering all 3 Valakuts, and then he'll point all of them at Adrian's face. Then he'll play Wooded Foothills, crack it, mountain, Valakut, 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 Adrian's face. Then he'll cast Lord Windgrace. Adrian will respond by drawing a card with Kumena's draw ability, and does nothing else. Lord Windgrace resolves, and he'll tick it down, putting a Wooded Foothills and a Verdant Catacombs into play. He'll then crack the Wooded Foothills, mountain, Valakut, 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 Adrian's face, and then he'll crack Verdant Catacombs to find a swamp. Also, by the way, Field of the Dead was here the whole time. Thank you for the shortcut. Ajdin will then end the turn. On Foley's turn, he'll untap, draw, drop a forest, cast a Soul Ring, and then he'll cast another Morth creature, triggering Kadena and drawing him a card. Then he'll activate Scroll of Fate, manifesting the card from his hand, triggering Kadena and drawing a card. Then he'll Megamorph up Den Protector, targeting and returning Return of the Wild Speaker back to his hand. Foley will then swing all in on Adrian. Adrian will declare his blocks, and then Foley will cast Return of the Wild Speaker to give his board +3/+3. Adrian will activate Kumena's ability, tapping 3 Merfolk to draw a card. Adrian will respond by tapping his creatures and mana out for Court of Calling, but Foley's gonna Megamorph up Stratus Dancer, which will counter the spell upon being revealed. The spell is countered, the combat goes through, and Adrian is yeeted. Foley will then pass the turn.
How does Ajdin get away with this? Somehow I'm punished for your crimes.
Round 8, Calvin will untap, Thieving Amalgam will trigger, manifesting the top card of his library, Kadena will trigger, drawing Foley a card, and then Calvin will draw. He'll activate Rummaging Goblin, discarding a card to draw a card, and then he'll cast Wheel of Fortune, discarding everyone's hand again and drawing everyone a new 7. Snow-covered mountain. He'll then cast Solemn Simulacrum, triggering it twice because of Panharmonicon, finding 2 snow-covered mountains, and then with some politics. And I'm going to
Vote for Calvin.
I'm gonna attack Foley.
I'm gonna black with all my creatures. Sure, why
My
not?
name's Bernie Sanders.
Connecting and untapping his lands. He'll then cast Unstable Obelisk, and then he'll finish the turn by casting Immolation Shaman. On Ajdin's turn, he'll untap, Thieving Amalgam will trigger, manifesting the top card of his library, Kadena will trigger, drawing Foley a card, and then Ajdin will draw a card. He'll cast Constant Mitts, buybacking it by sacrificing a mountain, to which Calvin will respond by casting Abrade, targeting the Ramunap Excavator. The Abrade resolves, killing the Excavator, the Constant Miss resolves, going back to Ajdin's hand, and then Ajdin will cast Crucible of Worlds.
Meet Crucible Worlds.
Okay.
You got another one?
Ajdin will then cast and buy back Constant Mist 3 more times, before redeploying all the sacrifice mountains to trigger Valakut 12 times, pointing them all at Calvin because fuck him. Also, Field of the Dead exists, but it doesn't matter. Ajdin will then pass the turn. On Foley's turn, he'll have a long-ass untap step.
I just realized why I like to build aggressive commander decks.
Did you?
I did.
Because I had that thought earlier too.
It's because I like to wrap the fucking game up.
Draw, then he'll drop a forest before casting another morph creature, triggering Kadena. Then he'll activate Scroll of Fate, triggering Kadena. And then he'll flip up Brine Elemental, triggering Brine Elemental and forcing Ajdin to skip his next untap step. He'll then cast Velo the Nightclad before ending the turn. Round 9.
I tried.
Foley,
Good God, did you try?
not only did you try, but you made it look good.
He casts Constant Miss, and he sacrifices the land, and then he plays the land, and you take 9!
Yeah.
And he puts Constant Miss back in
He
his
does,
hand.
he does that enough time to kill me.
Hold on, let me narrate the whole thing. This is very important. And then he plays his land, and then Constant Miss, and he buys it back, and then he's gonna play
Dose.
the land, and
That's
then
2 times.
and then he takes 9! And then he's gonna do the thing, and then it buys it back, and I fully
Are you telling me I take 999?
9!
No, I only take
9!
So, let's talk about it. The first deck that I really want to get out of the way is the Kumena deck. There's Kumena and there's Kadena. So I'm going to say Kumena, assuming that's the merfolk. I keep on doing this thing where the Kumena deck gets put onto the screen, and Adrian pilots the deck really well, and then he dies first. And I'm going to teach you a valuable lesson right now. If you die first, that means your deck did a very good thing, and everyone else wanted you away, because they want to win more. And you know, it's 3-on-1, it's really hard to do. Archenemy is fun. Adrian's in that position a lot. I'm not the guy to say much about the Kumena deck. Bingo, bango, bongo. After that, we have the Godo deck. The Godo deck died next, so I want to talk about the Godo deck. And here's the thing about the Godo deck. I already did the Godo gameplay the other video ago, where that's the one where it won. This is actually the game that we played first, though, with the Godo deck, and it did the same exact thing, but by dying this time. Godo can't get past the Glacial Chasm, and how unfortunate. Again, comment down below your thoughts and feelings about the EDH decks occasionally getting piloted on the channel. We like to have an archive of when the decks do good, and especially like to keep the decks around when they can also not. They can also just suck. The Godo deck sucked today. The Godo deck sucked last game too. Godo sucks until it wins. After that, I guess we're going to talk about the Kadena deck. I think the thing about Foley's Kadena deck is it's not as well polished as Guy's, but Kadena is a very powerful commander in and of herself. If you were not sold on playing her, this is a lower power version of the same thing that you saw a couple games ago. Just the constant utility of morph, manifest, creature, drawing cards. It's another commander where you do the thing and you draw the card. I would probably recommend, potentially, maybe Foley should actually have Pickle Lock in there, the combo. I don't know if he does. Maybe that wouldn't have got saved in that game, but that would have been a game plan. You know? And then finally we have the Lord Windgrace deck. And here's the fun thing about the Lord Windgrace deck. You know what it does. I know what it does. We all know what it does. But this time it did it with a twist. Like around like turn 6 or 7. The turn that Adrian died, I think. Ajdin couldn't finish him off because he went Wooded Foothills crack, Wooded Foothills crack, Wooded Foothills crack, Wooded Foothills crack. Verdant Catacombs. No mountain. And he was a very sad boy. He ran out of mountains in the deck. And you didn't see it. There was a cut of just us all mulling over exactly. Okay, we know Ajdin has the win, but like how precisely? And just buy back mountain, buy back mountain, buy back mountain, buy back mountain. I have never seen a fog win the game before. I keep on hearing people move in this house. This house is too fucking big. So certainly the MVP, something I keep on forgetting to mention in all these videos, but the MVP for this game was constant mists. Just constantly. If you like this video, please be sure to send a comment down below, the like and the subscribe, and the bippity boppity boppity boo. We have some fun little ding dongs for you coming up later in this week. I cannot talk without a script, and I am never doing a game longer than an hour again. Goodbye.
I might struggle, but it's part of the process, okay? You need to let me struggle.
That's how we get better at what we do. We struggle like little bitches.
Right on.
And trust me, I'm a little bitch.